Hello everyone, it's Honey Lou. I hope you're doing well. This is an update of what I've been up to. I've been sick for like 25 days and I got pneumonia. I got really sick. It was not good. I haven't been that sick in a long time. But I'm finally feeling better now. And there's a few things that I wanted to show. I got this book from Barnes & Noble. It's the Tarot, the Handbook, Practical Applications of Ancient Visual Symbols by Angelise Arian. I don't think this deck is, I think it's familiar in tarot community, but I do recommend it to anybody who wants to learn about Thoth or like learn different interpretations about Thoth, also about like the astrology and working astrology with the cards and like how they make the card what it is. But I finished this book in a day, and a lot of things kind of stuck into my brain of her interpretations of the her cards of the cards. But what else was I going to say? It's a really good book. I do recommend it. She goes through astrology. She goes through the path lives of like your path life, my path life, and then there's like awesome going through the constellations of few cards, not all of them, but I like the way she writes, and yeah, I really do like this book. It's black and white, so there's like the growth cycles. You could, if you like have a card of the year, you could go through this and then you could read about what your card means, and yeah, I really liked the way she writes. She goes through the earth signs, like a quick summary, and then the signs. And yeah, I learned a lot from this book. I really like the way she writes. And another thing I got at Barnes & Noble is a new journal. I have this journal, and usually when I go through a new phase in life, I have to get a new journal. That's my thing. And this one, I did this to it, and I did this with like that sticky or that 3D paint you could put on t-shirts. I just stuck it on this leather thing, and yeah, did that. A lot of fun. And so I can't wait to do that to this. I'm just trying to figure out like what I want to design in it. This is going to be like my personal journal. But yeah, I'm just still trying to decide what I want to put on here, but I can't wait to decorate it and use it. And I love the thick paper. I am a paper person. I like high quality, thick paper, and it has gilded edges. I love the stars. I think it's really nice. Okay, so decks. I got my unicorn deck. I got the Swolly Tarot. This is the second edition. I wanted this deck forever. I've only heard really good things about this deck, and I wanted it. And I think a lot of people do want this deck. I like the guidebook. It goes through the symbols of each card, but this was brand new when I got it, and it's really thick backs. It has a lot of cards. It has the astrology, zodiac signs. It has the elements, and what else? I think that's it. Yeah, the elements and then the zodiacs, and then it has the tarot. So I really like the way this deck is designed. Like, I love the borders, I love the backs, I love the colors, I like the way everything's placed. My honest review about this deck is that some of the cards are really blurry, but I guess that's kind of like the aesthetic of this deck. So this card is really blurry. This is the Lover's card. I don't know if you could see that. A lot of people don't mention that, but I wanted to mention that. I guess it's kind of like the aesthetic of the graininess, but I guess I was a little disappointed when I saw that some of them were a little bit blurry. Like maybe they scanned the images and then made the cards or something. Some of them are really nice, but some of them are kind of blurry. But I like the aesthetic of this deck. It looks like this deck should be at like Urban Outfitters or something. But I like how clean and simple it is, and it's like really easy to read, like very intuitive. Rider-Waite-Smith, I love the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is beautiful. But it's very classy, and I like the thick cardstock. It's hard to shuffle, but it just makes it really classy, like fine art. This one's a little bit blurry. You could see that. But the more I work with this deck, the more I love it. The more I love the Devil card so much. It's so cool. I like the guidebook because she goes through all the symbolism of why she put whatever, but you can't really see much on the earth, really. There's a lot of beautiful cards, though. This is a beautiful card. One of my favorite. I love that green color. But there's more cards that I love in here. I love the Capricorn card with the crystal. I love the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is one of my favorite cards in here. I love the Aries card. I love the reds in this deck. Two of Swords is amazing. Really love how simple it is and how well they designed this deck is nice. I love the Sagittarius card. The star is nice. Empress is beautiful. The Hierophant is one of my favorite cards. This is like the first card that kind of really drew me in. I don't know why that I'm so attracted to the Hierophant cards. A lot of people don't like the Hierophant cards, but for me, I just, when I get the Hierophant, I think of it in like my own interpretation of the card. I don't think of it as a negative, like, you know, priest or, you know, just like the bad juju that priest gets, or, you know, the reputation some priests get, because there is a lot of bad priests out there and stuff. But like same with tarot. Tarot gets some bad reputation too. But for me, like the Hierophant card, like is just basically spiritual teaching. So like when I went to rehab, they told us to focus on our spirituality. And so the way I did that and got my spiritual, like got my mentor, was I got into tarot classes, I got into meditation classes, I got into clairvoyant classes, and like therapy. Like that's like the Hierophant card for me, is just seeking mentors that are going to help you to align yourself to your, you know, for you to become who you really are. And that's what the Hierophant card for me to means. And like me teaching, or like, I don't know, I don't feel like I am a teacher, but I guess maybe I am, because I feel like I do lack knowledge in things. Like I'm not a really good speaker. My vocabulary isn't like extensive like to everybody else. Like, you know, that was one thing that really intimidated me about making YouTube videos. I was like, well, I don't have a really good vocabulary. I don't know big words. I'm pretty simple and just straight to the point, and that's it. But I mean, like, yeah, so the Hierophant card is a major card that means a lot to me in a way, and it could be just about the 5, the change, and I don't know. But anyways, back to the Spolia. Overall, I do like it, I love it. I would never get rid of it. This card is a little bit blurry to me. But yeah, it's a beautiful deck. I just wanted to give my honest review about it. Cardstock is, I think the cardstock makes the deck what it really is, and it really gives it its charm, but it is actually pretty hard to shuffle. Well, it kind of has like a lip this way, but I've been trying to just shuffle it this way because you can't riffle shuffle it. So I just go back and forth and shuffle it like this and do that, and then I just do that. but it's a really beautiful deck. But you know what? Some other like beautiful collage decks that are out right now with super sharp images is like, let's talk about the Ritual Tarot. You know, this deck is super clear. Mine is the first edition. I love my grungy looking first edition. I don't know, I just love my first edition Ritual Tarot. But the images are so sharp. And, you know, after getting the Swolly Tarot, it kind of made me like really appreciate my other collage decks more. It made me appreciate the decks that I had. But, and, you know, after getting the Swolly, because that was like a deck that I really wanted so bad, and then getting it, it made me really kind of realize that I had some amazing decks that I already had, and I wanted the Swolly Tarot so bad, but these decks are really beautiful. And yeah. And it sucks because we're always just trying to find the perfect decks. But yeah, so I worked with my decks, and I was actually going through all my collection and working with a lot of decks that I haven't pulled out. But my Thoth deck is my #1 deck of all time. And it's like, you know, lusting over other decks, but it's like I already have the deck that's for me, and that's kind of like an aha moment for me, just like knowing that I already have the deck that I want, but it's like we're all just looking for the perfect collection, the perfect decks. That's for me. Maybe that's like a Virgo thing, because my Virgos and my moon is in Virgo, and it's like my dad is a Virgo, and so like he's very perfectionist. He has to have the best of the best things. Like he likes high quality stuff, and that's basically me. My mom's Aquarius, and my Venus is an Aquarius, so it's funny. And I'm a Sagittarius, so it's like I got my mom, I got my dad, I got me. But yeah, I've been really appreciating the love I have for my Thoth, and having the deck that's really meant for me. But anyways, decks that I've been working with. I've been working with Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, the guidebook, and I've been working with the Numinous Astro deck, and I'll just do these one at a time. I showed you both these decks together because I put them both together. These are both beginner friendly. I really love my Heavenly Bodies deck, but mine's warped, as you could see. Maybe you can't, but mine's all like bented, and it's, yeah. But it's so beautiful, and it doesn't bother me at all. I really love, this is like a high quality box. The guidebook is hardcover. The book is nice. It's easy to read, easy to follow through. But I had this deck for over a year, and I read it the first time, but it never stuck that time. But now I read it this time because I was ready for it, and now it really stuck. So I've been adding a lot of astrology to my tarot, and what I've been doing with this deck is I've been doing Celtic crosses with this deck and this deck, and you could have a really good reading with the astrology deck alone for the Celtic cross. Like, this deck works really well for a reading. But yeah, a lot of, it's not confusing, like it's just straightforward, straight to the point. But here's the Numinous Astro deck. These are both mass market decks. The cardstock is better on this deck. It's thin, but it's nice. It's gonna last. Very simple. I like the key phrases. But yeah, these are like my two favorite astrology decks for beginners. And I have another astrology deck that I've been working with, and it's been for my altar. and it is the Celestial Bodies Astrology, Numerology, Oracle Deck and Guidebook. It's the same creator who does the Serpent Fire and the She-Wolf. This deck, it's not for beginners, but you could do it. So I've been just pulling a card, and then I'll put it on my altar, and then I'll read in the guidebook, and then I'll just keep it on my altar until I read it, until I remember it. So I've been just doing daily pulls. I think this deck is really beautiful. I love the hydroglyph, or the gilding. It's like a plastic field deck. It's a huge deck, but it's easy to shuffle just because of like the way it's designed. So I could shuffle it either way, and it's really flexible. But this deck doesn't have any keywords. It has numerology about path life and the houses, everything. It has a Kabbalah. This deck has more cards. The guidebook is super thick. It's really pretty. There's a smaller size of this deck too. I got the larger one because I like big cards. And it looks beautiful on my altar. And the deck, or the cards that I have on my altar right now, is Saturn Returns. Okay, so another deck that I've finally been working with is the Live and Altar Oracle. I had this deck for like about a year now, and I finally started using it. So I've been just putting it on my altar, and so whatever cards I want to have an intention for, I put creation and abundance. And so I just pick these cards and put it on my altar because I'm trying to manifest these things. And then I like the messages on the book, so it's kind of like setting your intention, and then like manifesting, I guess. I really like the artwork, and I like the cardstock, so you get like this thing of spells to do, and it's like that spot gloss on top. So I don't know if you could see that. There's like a little bit of spot gloss, and then it's like a rose petal finish, but it is easy to slide. It's not sticky, and so it's really cool. It looks pretty on your altar. There is some like spell kind of things. Oops, I've been doing it backwards. But yeah, it's really pretty. I never knew how to like work with this deck when I first got it. I was like, I don't get it. And then I like this card. But now I'm kind of like just kind of channeling, I guess, setting intentions, kind of like listening to my heart, and whatever I think the card means is basically how I use it, and just let my heart speak to myself, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of confusing unless if you are like know everything about all this witchy stuff, then yeah, you probably would get it, but I didn't really get it at first because I'm still pretty new to the witchy stuff. I really like this card too. But anyways, yeah, there's about like the moon phases and seasons, and yeah, I think it's really beautiful. Very creative. I like that card. Choice. But I'm so happy that I finally was able to work with this deck. I like the edges too. I'm surprised this deck hasn't been like, people that make fake decks, because this deck is made in China. For some reason, I heard a rumor that if a deck was made in China, they're allowed to copy it or something. But I believe this deck was made in China, but it's a really beautiful, high-quality deck. Okay, so I got all that out of the way. Let's see, what else have I been doing? I got this deck from Target. It's the Night School Moonlit Magic deck. I think it's really cool. So basically it's just like a deck that kind of teaches you about magic and like things that you should learn. It gives you ideas of what things you should learn. And yeah, it's just kind of a little guide to tell you what you should learn about. And I thought it was really cool. So it's a little teacher deck. So it'll tell you things to do, what to do in divination, ask the right questions. It just gives you tips. And I just keep this alchemy. Yeah, it talks about like clairsentient, I don't remember, clairvoyant stuff, psychic stuff, the senses, the elements, and yeah, I think it's really cool. Pretty cheap. Okay, and what else? What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I've been working with the light Sears Tarot. This was like one of my first decks that I got, and I would love to get an indie version of this deck because I'm like that. But this deck gives me nostalgia. I got this deck last summer, and so when I pulled it out again, it gave me like kind of nostalgia feelings, and so I wanted to work with it again. And the Heavenly Bodies deck too was a summer deck that I got, and so working with them again gave me nostalgia and kind of like reflecting of things that I've learned, like how much I've learned over the year, and good memories of just being so passionate about tarot and things I didn't know like a year ago, and how much like I've expanded, and I love it. It's just good times. It's been really good. It's been a really good few, like the past 2 years has been really good to me, and I am really happy. Okay, so another thing is I got another 1978 Thoth deck because I wanted a backup, because the 1978 version is my favorite deck of the Thoth, the first edition of the box C. And so this is my older one. This is the newer one I got. And it's so cool. The things like I love about collecting Thoth decks is that they're always so different. So it's like everyone's is always unique. I've always noticed subtle differences of all of my decks that I've got. And so it's like putting my favorite deck and like get a new filter on it, you know? And I just love seeing the Thoth deck in different forms, and it's, I don't know, I'm so fascinated by it. Okay, so this is my older 1978, so mine's a little used. I don't know if you can see that, but mine is a little bit dirtier. This one's the brand new one I got, and it's clean. And then I've noticed that this deck is a little bit bigger. Oh no, now they don't even look like it. Okay, wait, that's why. Okay. So this one has like, it's a little bit more thicker. And there's subtle differences. Well, let's look at the backs. This one's a little bit more vibrant, I guess. There was a subscriber that said that her 1978 was a little bit washed out, and I was like, mine's not washed out, because this one was mine, and it's very vibrant. And this one, I've noticed it's a slightly washed out, but I like it. There's some cards that I really do like in this one, and then there's some that I like more in this one, but it's like I find different cards that are my favorite in like all of my decks. Like the Empress is my favorite in my first 1978. It's like really vibrant. This one's slightly washed out, if you could see. You can see this one's a little bit lighter than this one. But yeah, I put these in order to show that. And this one's a little bit more vibrant. I'll just quickly go through them because it's probably annoying. So you can see how much this one's darker, this one's lighter. But I like how unique the Thoth is. I really like the cardstock in the 1978 version too. You see this one's a little bit darker. This one's darker. It's like fluffy. I don't know how to describe it. It's like fluffy. The cardstock is really nice. I like how this one's lighter. This one's more darker. It's like they accidentally like reprinted it twice, or maybe the ink was like you know, more stronger then, and then it went to washed out. I don't know. But I think that's fascinating and cool. Oops. See, this one's darker. One of my favorite cards is this one. And the new one I got, I really like this card. This is the card that really stuck out to me. This one's a bit more darker, but I really like how it all looks with the border, how like washed out it kind of looks, but it's really bright and detailed. Okay, so the other deck that I've been working with is the Voyager Tarot. So in the beginning I told you guys I didn't care for this deck, and I hear a lot of good things about this deck and I really want to love it. So I am trying my hardest to learn this deck. I bought the book, it hasn't got in yet, and then I found a vintage copy of this deck for $15. And so I wanted to see if like the bigger cardstock would be better image quality, because sometimes it be like that sometimes, because I'm sure a lot of you guys noticed that a lot of vintage copies of decks seem a little bit better than like the decks that are out now. And I find that super weird, because I would think they would be better, but they're, I don't know. But anyways, so it's like really busy, and sometimes I have a hard time concentrating on what it is. So I'm hoping if I get the bigger deck of this, the vintage version of this deck, and read the book, maybe I could love this deck like everybody else does. Because I hear a few people, like their first, like how they first started tarot, they were introduced with this deck. And I heard Cheyenne talk about it, I heard Tarot Map, Kesha, and then I heard Lisa Papez talk about this deck. I heard Thea, Garden Goddess Tarot, and so I really want to see what the buzz is about. I want to see if I could figure it out. I've been reading the guidebook, and I do like the way he writes. I like his interpretations. I think it's very sweet and comforting. Like, this deck is very comforting. Something like kind of creepy about this deck. I don't know. But I would love to figure it out. But yeah, so I've been working with the Voyager Tarot, and slowly it is growing on me. Like, it's not kind of cringy when I pick it up and want to use it. Like, I'm actually like wanting to, I'm like curious about it. And before I was kind of like, I have other decks to work with, I don't want to work with that one. And I'm like, I don't get it. And then, but now I'm really trying to figure it out. Oh yeah, so yesterday I got some candles. These are Bath and Body Works. Yeah, Bath and Body Works. I got Vampire's Blood. Comes in a cute little thing. It smells really good. And then I got this other holiday one. It's the Goal Friend. And it's like purple, and it smells like kind of like artificial grapes. I don't know, it smells really good. They both smell good. This one's like an apple. I don't know, no, maybe it's like a vanilla scent, but they're very kind of mellow smelling, and I don't like strong candle scents. So hopefully I will like that. I got a new quartz. The person I bought this new Thoth deck gave me a quartz and I really love it. So thank you if you watch this. And I've been working with my Medicine Woman Tarot. I wanted to get the book, like the bigger book for it, but people said that it wasn't really that big, and so I thought that I got enough information out of the little white book to go off of, and there's like a few resources on YouTube that I could watch. But I've been working with this deck. I really want to like get to know this deck really well. I really like the artwork, and I like the way it's set up. This deck smells really good too. I like the way it smells. It's an older copy. I think it's the first edition. The mass market version, the color edition. I like the card stock. I think the colors a little bit more mellow in the first edition, and then like the one you can get now, the cards are the coloring is a little bit more vibrant. But yeah, I like the softer look. So I've been using this deck a lot. I love that card. It's my favorite card. That's them when they're young. I think that's so cute. It's so sweet. And then I could show you another deck that I really love is the T23 by Gregory Bogamiri. Sorry if I didn't say that right, but I love this deck. It's getting easier to put into the tuck box. I think it's just like a new thing. I have a hard time with the Voyager Tarot too. I have to open up both sides to get that one in, but this one, it fits in there not good now. But this deck is so cute. I love it. I don't know, something about it, but I just love everything about it. I love all the detailing. I feel like it's so elegant, and like just his artwork is just beautiful. And I would love to get his other decks. The moon and the star are like some of my favorite cards. The star is gorgeous. I love her hair. Just like, it's so elegant. And I love that too. I just love the body language. And the Queen of Cups. I love her. I love her neck. Like how her hair is pulled back, her neck, the way she's looking, she's pouring the cup. And then like just everything, it's just so beautiful. I really like it a lot. And when I first saw this deck, I thought the heads looked a little bit bigger, like, you know, like kind of like that bobblehead. But in person, it's not like that. It's actually very proportionate to me. Like, I thought it kind of looked like a Bratz doll in a way. But I love how her shoulders, her neck, her face, just, it's a really beautiful, I love this card too. I love just, I don't know, it's just beautiful. And I love the card stock too. It's like really flexible and unique. It suits the deck a lot. The backs are my favorite. I already talked about that. But yeah, I do recommend this Marseille. I think it's awesome. I was just talking about how it was a little bit easier to get in, but now I'm having issues. Okay, what else? I guess I wanted to talk about like other collage decks that I love. Like, since I got Swolly, I was kind of like, oh, you know what? Some other things that I do really love, since I have that deck, I really love this deck too. Like, and it's funny how people have different experiences with decks. Like, I've seen some people don't really care for this deck, but I really love this deck. I find it very intuitive, and I like the colors and the interpretations. I just find it easy to read. And I like how big it is. I don't know, it's just a nice deck. I like how clear it is. I love those cups. I love the Tower card. It's like one of my favorite cards. This is definitely one of my favorite collage decks. And I find it like one of the easier decks to read for some reason. It's just I connected to this deck. I love the world. The death is pretty awesome. The Pentacle is my favorite. I love the Ace of Cups. But it's just, I love all the colors. I really love the star. I think it's beautiful. And then I pulled out another collage that I like. That kind of reminds me of the Swolly Tarot in a way. For some reason it does. I don't know why, but it's the Alchemy Visions Tarot. This deck has very clear images. And it's so pretty. This is a really pretty deck to put on your altar. It kind of like has like that mix of the Swolly Tarot to me, and then it has Tarot of the Holy Light. But this one is just, I like the contrast of like the black and the colors because it's not overwhelming. Like if this was all color, it would be really overwhelming, but I really love the hints of colors, and it's like a really pretty color palette. But this deck is really sharp, very clear images, nice cardstock, so it's easy to shuffle, and it is, I don't know, I love it. I really love the Devil card. It's one of my favorite cards. I haven't really went through the guidebook yet. I've read a few things in it, but I would like to get into this deck more. I just want to show you the Devil card. It's a huge deck too, but I like the size. Oh, I guess I missed it. Anyways, there's that. And what other things have I been doing? I've read The Sylvia Mind Control is a really good book. It's about meditation, like different tools you could use to get into alpha mode, and it helps you to solve problems. Ever since I learned meditation, I felt a big difference in my change in perspective, change of mood. It's definitely really helped me out, and I think everybody should learn meditation, but this is a really good book to learn different techniques of meditation and solving problems. It's a really good book, and it's by Jose Silva. Yeah, The Silva Mind Control. What else? Oh yeah, so books that I have coming in the mail. I've got more Aleister Crowley books. I got the 7771. I got the Book of Law coming. I got the Book of Lies. And, oh yeah, I got the Voyager Tarot coming. And then I got Memento Mori Oracle deck. I finally purchased that. That thing's coming. I found a second-hand copy of Carol Herzner. That's how you say her name. Her Illuminated Tarot, the glitter one. That's been on my wish list for a long time, so I can't wait to get that deck. And, but yeah, I think that's my update. Yep, I think that's everything I wanted to share. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.